Hello, people. It is another week gone by, and today is another Neon Pop journal page. We did these gel printed papers in the first week, and so this week we're going to do an abstract page with Neon Pop. So these pages are going to start with some of those gel prints, and I'm just going to get my glue stick out and I'm going to glue down some of these papers. So I'm ripping it up. I want to, make sure it's going to fit on the page, and when I want to glue smaller pieces. So I typically tear these down into something that's more manageable when it comes to a glue stick. So that's all I'm doing is tearing this down, getting ready to go. This is Premiere that we did on AJOS Sharing, and Chelsea did an abstract page also. So if you want to see that in its entirety, you can go over to our sister channel, Art Joy of Sharing, and you can watch it there. Additionally, we have our Facebook group, Art Joy of Sharing, and if you want to become a member of Art Joy of Sharing, you just have to answer a few questions on Facebook so that we know you're not a robot, and you can join our community and join the fun doing these projects that we dream up each month. Shell and I come up with something for a mood board, something for a challenge, something for an overall theme. So this month it is neon, and this is the third week working with these neons. We did gel printing the first week. The second week I did another art journal page, which you can watch. I'll try to link it in the end of this video so that you can see that if you haven't already seen it. And now I'm just going to glue some of these pieces down that I tore up to add to my page. I'm liking the fluorescent greenish yellow tone of this, and the stencil was kind of a graphic stencil that I used. So I'm digging the graphic style of that for this page. Now, I'm working upside down right now because it's the back side of another page that I'd already journaled. And I'm going to flip it around now and get it to where it's supposed to be because I've already got stuff. I like to work on both sides of my pages. So I already have stuff on the opposite side, and I want to make sure that I cover every page in here, both front and back. So I'm going to flip through here, find some other papers. I like this one. It's a little bit brighter. It's got the blue and green and gold tone to it. So I'm going to glue some more paper down. And I'm looking at this other piece. This is a piece that is a laser print from our friends at P&M Studio, Art Studio. And if you're interested in their products, you can go find them on the internet. But they have these really cool printed laser papers that I purchased from them, along with a few stencils. They're kind of cool. And I thought I would colorize them when I was gel printing. So that's what I did, is I just did a little bit of coloring with those neon tones on those printed papers. So now I want to spray. This is a neon spray paint from Liquitex. So I'm just going to spray that down and brighten that up a little bit. The black is still showing through. Those other colors are still showing through. But I need to dry this down so that I can keep working. And now I'm ready to glue down that other piece of paper. Just tearing and getting my glue stick, and this is I paper piece the background many times when I am doing an art journal page like this. I will paper piece a background before I start adding my design and focal images and that sort of thing. And because this is abstract, it may not look like a whole lot to you right now because it's just, colors. Now I'm pulling that piece back up because I decided I wanted something else underneath that this one was, the bright color should be towards the front more, and I'm putting the darker colors in behind. So just gluing that down, and then I'm going to get another piece of this green tone paper and layer that in. So that's how I get started, just deciding where I want the color blocks on here, whether I want it geometric or circular or floral or however I decide to do it is what I put down. So I think it needs a little brightening, so I'm going to get out some Distress Oxide in this mustard tone and kind of start unifying the page with some ink. I'm going to dry that down, and then I will get another stencil out. I think I'm done gluing papers down, so I'm gathering those bits and pieces of paper because they can be used on another collage. And I'm going to get a stencil and my black ink because now I want to add some of those, I don't know, just kind of design elements that pull it all together. The mustard tone will do that, but now I'm deciding I want some linear or graphic design added here to unify those pieces of paper that are just kind of stuck on the page. So I have another Stencil Girl stencil, and I'm adding something that looks kind of like a grid or a map. These kind of look like little plots of land or something to me, so I can see that. And I'm going to get Stabilo All, and I'm just going to go around some of those pieces and emphasize the shapes here with that Stabilo All. And I'll get a wet brush, because once you wet down the Stabilo, it will become permanent. So I'm just blending that out into those creases and getting it wet so that it will become a permanent part of that page. I'm going to dry that down and think about what's next. So I'm looking through my stencils, looking for something I want to use on here. And oh yes, this is a Crafter's Workshop stencil, and it's got some lines in it. I'm looking for more graphic lines and dots and things. This one has the little dot characters up there, and I'm going to add some dotty blue to the surface there. So now I want to continue unifying those pieces of paper. So I'm going to come back with that bright limey green and the same stencil with a different image from there, and I'm going to add that in several places to my page. Actually, I decided to put some on the other page that I was working too. So you can see that that's kind of dark up there in the corner, so I'm going to add some of that limey green across there and a few of the dots. And I'm liking what I'm seeing, but I need something that's more of a focal point, something that will draw your eye across the page a bit. The dark lines draw your eye around the page, but I decided I wanted something that was a little more of a neon pop, because this is using neon colors on black, but they're not really that neon wow factor that I'm looking for. So I'm looking through my stencils and I'm thinking, well, this is one of my favorites, and then I've got this other one that's got little circles and things on it, and I'm thinking, which one do I want to use? And ultimately, you know, the dots are winning out because I got the dots in the smaller form. So I'm just going to put down some Distress Oxide in this peacock blue, and I'm going to add this neon blue embossing powder. This is from Ranger, and it is really bright, bright blue. It's neon. And I thought, well, that certainly is going to stand out and be a wow factor. So I'm adding that, knocking off the excess. I've got kind of a messy mess there, so I'm going to take a brush and clean off some of the excess where I don't want it. And I'm just continuing to clean up. I put the rest of the powder back in the jar so I didn't spill it, because I tend to do things like that. I spill it. So I'm going to heat set that, and then I'm going to add a few more dots to my page. And I've got a little finger sponge dauber. So I'm just going to add a few little pieces and add some more of that bright, bright blue embossing powder. Put the excess back, and I will heat set that once again. I do end up putting another stencil or another stamp or two on the opposite page just so that it looks a little bit cohesive. I'm going to use my Stabilo All and a pit marker to add a little shadow to those circles on the page. And that will be it for my abstract neon for July. And I'll put some parting shots in here. You know, I always like to give you the shots at the end. I'm looking at this stencil and I'm thinking, you know, there's parts of this that I'd like to go over with that black again, but ultimately I just get out a pen because that shimmer in that paint was making the black kind of gray out a little bit, so I didn't really care for that, and I wanted to make it darker. So there's the pit pen coming out, and got a few places that are loose, so I'm going to glue down those loose papers and finish this out. I can't thank you enough for all your kind comments and well wishes. If you are interested in joining my channel, it's $1.99 a month, and that is an extra bonus video each month from me. You can go back and watch the ones that I've already recorded, but consider joining my channel. I'd love to have you as a member. So enjoy the stills, and I will see you again next time. Thanks, everybody.